This is going to be a really fun episode. In this episode, we're going to walk through sending an SMS message. So I'm going to come down here into my send SMS method. And also in this lesson, we're going to be learning about the differences between private, protected, and then public methods. And we're going to start off by going through public methods. So right here, I'm going to bring in some logic, and I didn't think you guys would want me to type this in. And all it's going to do is to perform a curl request. And this curl request is going to make a post HTTP request to an app that I've built for a different course that's still live on Heroku, so we can use it here. And what it's going to do is it's going to pass in a title and then a URL, and this is what's going to be sent in the SMS message. And then what we're going to be doing is in our initializer, we're going to be taking in the title from right up here, and we're also going to be taking in the URL that we're going to pass in. So let's go grab that. So this is a URL for the API we're connecting to. So I'm going to come down here, and in our URL, we're going to be sending this. So the way this is going to work is we're going to create a new instance of our SMS connector, passing it in my title. We're sending a description. For the sake of what we're doing right now, I'll leave it, but this API doesn't require that. And then we're also passing a URL of a real live working one. This wouldn't work for you because it would technically work, but I only have a development account on it right now for the Twilio account, and so that will only work with my phone number since it's in development. But you can sign up for a Twilio account and do this yourself as well. So right here, we're going to be passing in this URL, and then I can even bring it over here really quick from the browser. So I'm going to be sending, you can see this edutectional-resty.heroku app posts 1. You can see that right here that this is what we're sending in the content. So this is what the part of the content we're sending in. But the URL we're talking to is this one right here. So we're going to be passing in this URL value and the title value, and then that is going to contact this other API that is going to actually send the SMS message for us, which is all pretty cool because look, we don't actually have anything that should be able to send an SMS message right here. All we're doing is we created a parent class that is going to connect to a different app that's going to do it. And so this is called a service-based architecture. So I'm also going to get rid of this. This method doesn't do anything for us right now. And all we have to do now is come up and call our send SMS message from the terminal. So if I come right here and run this, you can see that now we see a little bit different message. It's contacting the system, and look at this. I can even open it up and show you right here. Sent from your Twilio trial account. Here's a blog post. And if I click this, it would bring up this blog post. So all this worked, and that actually sent through my right to my phone, which is pretty cool. And you can see that this is a great way of relegating the task to this send SMS method instead of another point of contact like a phone call or email. So this SMS connector right here only has one job, one feature, and that's the way that a good Ruby class should be structured. So this is a public method. How do private methods and protected methods work? Well, I'm going to come up to a Rails application so I can show you that. Let's see, let's come to this one right here. And this is a class for a inventory system. And if we scroll all the way to the bottom, you can see that we have this private keyword right here. So when you have something that's private, it means that only that specific class is going to be able to access it. Now, Ruby is so open that there technically are ways around this, and so it's important to know that. However, it's a really bad practice to take advantage of those. So technically, I could call this set inventory method right here from a different class, but really there shouldn't be a reason where that is ever necessary. You should only have these methods, and we can even see what they are right here: set inventory and inventory parameters. These are methods that only provide functionality to this class, and that's the way it should be. No other class should need to be able to call a set inventory method, because all it's doing is grabbing the params from a page that should be the only page that has this inventory item on it. The inventory params method is a method that whitelists parameters. So they should only be called from the controller, because that's the only one that should be creating these type of records. So this is a really good way to set up private methods. If we were to come back to this class right here, say that we had some things that we wanted to run inside of here. So let's say, well, first mark this as private, and then say def secret method here, and puts, we're going to say a secret message from inside the parent class. And then I'm going to then come up here in the initialize method and call this, and then I'm going to, instead of comment this out because I don't want to send the SMS message, I just want to, now let's use our phone connector right here. Okay, and change this to phone, and then create a call to it here. So send phone call. Okay, so now if we come back to the terminal and run this again, let's say class setup, you can see that it says a secret message from inside the parent class. Now you may also notice, because we instantiated this right up here for SMS connector, you see that because we have an initializer, this was actually called twice, which is pretty cool. So let's say that, I want that one. Let's turn this off, run it again. You can see it only gets called once. So this is the right way to use a private method. I'm calling it from within inside the class that it's declared, and everything's good there. Now, what happens if I come here and instead of doing send phone call, I try to call secret method. And we already knew from the first time when we did inheritance that this worked perfectly when we had another method in here that was a public method. But now let's see what happens here. You can see that it throws this error right here where it says there's a no method error, and it says private method, secret method called for our phone connector. So right there, Ruby was able to say, wait a second, you're calling a method that's a private method. This should not be called from the phone connector. The only place where this should be called is within the API connector. It's a piece of functionality that is specific to this class, and that's the way it should be. So a good rule of thumb is private methods are methods you put when they should not be used outside the class. Public methods are ones where they can be used throughout the application and should be more publicly available. There's also one called protected. So I can call protected here, switch back, run this again, and you can see now it's saying that there's a protected method, secret method. And honestly, they have secret method or protected method or protected methods available in Ruby. As far as I go from a day in, day out coding basis, I only use private and then public. Protected is similar to private, but there are a few more rules associated with it. Very rarely will you ever have to get into those. So I think just focus for right now on private methods. When you get into Ruby on Rails development, you're typically only going to see private and public. and publics are automatic, so you don't really have to say public. But just if you ever do see protected, just know that it's pretty similar to the way that private works, and it just lets all the methods underneath it. It restricts them to only being accessed from within that class. So if you went through that, great job.